All right. Ready to dive into some seriously mind-bending stuff.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
kind of stuff that makes you question the future of, well, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
We're talking about this research paper, how
Huh.
large language models can reshape collective intelligence.
Mm.
It's a bit dense,
Yeah.
but it's worth the effort, I think.
It really is.
What I find so fascinating about it is it
Mhm.
pushes us to think of AI not just as like this, fancy new tool,
Right.
but as something that could actually change how we humans interact and think and work together.
It changes the fabric of how we even collaborate as humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big deal when you think about it.
It is.
And this paper was just published last month in Nature Human Behavior. So it's super recent.
Yeah.
It goes deep into this relationship between large language models, which we'll call LLMs for short,
Yeah.
and something called collective intelligence.
Okay.
But before we jump into all of that,
Yeah.
let's back up for a second. What exactly is collective intelligence?
Mm.
I mean, when you hear that term, what pops into your head?
I think of how groups act together,
Okay.
groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a small team, like the people you work with,
Mm-hmm.
could be a company,
Right.
could even be entire societies.
Wow. So like operated on a massive scale.
Exactly.
Okay.
And all of these groups can act in ways that are actually smarter
Okay.
than any single person in that group,
Interesting.
even the experts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's like the old saying,
Yeah.
the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly.
Okay, so this isn't just some theoretical concept.
Right.
This is something that's happening all around us.
All the time. Yeah.
Can you give us some real-world examples of collective intelligence in action?
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
think about Wikipedia.
Okay.
Thousands of people
Mm,
contributing to build this just massive encyclopedia of knowledge.
right, and it's constantly being updated and
And updated. Yeah.
fact-checked.
It's a
And
fact check.
it's kind of amazing when you think about it.
It is.
Prediction markets,
Okay.
where you have diverse opinions
Mm-hmm.
being aggregated to try and predict what's going to happen in the future.
Oh, that's interesting. Like forecasting elections or...
Elections, economic trends,
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of things.
So using the wisdom of the crowd to kind of predict the future.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, and even open source software,
Wow.
where you have people collaborating online to create these complex programs.
Oh, like people all over the world working together
Yeah.
to build
doing
something?
build software.
That's pretty powerful.
It is, and all of those are powered by collective intelligence.
Wow. So we're not just talking about some abstract idea here.
No.
This is already shaping our world in some pretty major ways.
It is, yeah, and what this paper argues is that
Yeah.
LLMs like ChatGPT have the potential to either supercharge this
Okay.
or completely disrupt it.
Whoa. Okay. So we're talking about a pretty big spectrum here.
Huge swing. From supercharging it to completely breaking it.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin to unpack all of that?
Well, the paper kind of lays out these three key ingredients
Okay.
that are essential for collective intelligence to work its magic.
All right. So it's like we're baking a cake here.
Exactly.
We need the right ingredients and the right proportions
Read it.
to make this delicious collective intelligence cake.
I'm ready to bake.
All right. So what's the first ingredient in this recipe?
Ingredient number one,
Mm-hmm.
diversity.
Okay. Diversity. And we're talking about more than just
Right. It's more than
different
just
backgrounds or demographics.
More
Or...
than that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about having a range of perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
different approaches, ways
Yeah.
of thinking about things, and that diversity is really what helps us avoid groupthink
Okay.
and come up with more creative and effective solutions.
That makes sense. If you're in a room full of people
Yeah,
and everyone's got the same opinion,
right.
you're probably missing out on some important perspectives. Okay, so diversity is crucial.
Ingredient number two,
Ingredient number two, bring it on.
individual competence.
Okay, individual competence.
Right.
So does this mean everyone needs to be an expert?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It doesn't mean everyone needs to be an expert,
Uh-huh.
but there needs to be a baseline level
Okay.
of understanding,
Mm-hmm.
of skill
All right.
to actually contribute meaningfully.
Got it. So you're saying if you put a bunch of people in a room
Yeah,
who know absolutely nothing about a particular topic,
right.
they're probably not going to magically achieve collective intelligence,
Probably not.
no matter how diverse their backgrounds are.
Exactly. You need some level of shared knowledge and ability
Yeah.
to be able to build on each other's ideas
Okay.
and work toward that shared goal.
All right. So diversity, individual competence. What's our final ingredient?
Last but not least,
Okay.
Aggregation.
Aggregation. Okay, break that down for me.
So this is all about how we take
Yeah.
all those diverse inputs, all those different ideas, and combine them into a coherent outcome.
Okay, so it's not enough to just have a bunch of,
Right.
smart, diverse people just throwing out ideas.
It's not a free-for-all.
Right, you need some kind of
You
mechanism
need a way
to,
to
weave those contributions together
weave it together.
to
Yeah,
actually get something meaningful out of it.
exactly. And that mechanism,
All day?
it could be lots of things.
Like what?
Voting systems,
Okay.
market dynamics, even the algorithms that run social media.
So how we aggregate those individual contributions
Yeah,
is really key to actually harnessing the power of collective intelligence.
exactly.
Okay, so we've got our recipe,
We're ready to bake?
we've got our diversity, we've got our individual competence, and we've got our aggregation.
It's all coming together.
Now, where do LLMs fit into all of this?
That's where things get really interesting.
All right, I'm ready for the main course here.
Let's dig in.
Let's talk about how LLMs could actually boost collective intelligence.
Okay.
Where do we start?
Well, one of the most promising areas, I think, is in breaking down barriers to participation.
Okay, break that down for me. What does that mean?
So imagine a world where language is no longer a barrier.
Whoa. Okay, that's a big one.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
collaboration.
To collaborating.
Okay.
LLMs could provide real-time translation.
Wow.
So you could have people from all over the world communicating and working together seamlessly.
It's like having a universal translator from Star Trek.
It is like Star Trek.
No more awkward misunderstandings.
Yeah, exactly.
No more language barriers holding back innovation.
I love that.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, and it's not just about language.
Okay. What else?
LLMs could also act as writing assistants
Oh,
for
interesting.
people who may not be confident in their writing abilities
Right.
or who have difficulty putting their thoughts into words. And so it could make it much easier
Yeah.
for them to share their ideas and to contribute to discussions. So we're talking about a more inclusive
And more inclusive.
and equitable form
Okay.
of collective intelligence where everyone has a voice,
Everyone has a voice.
regardless of their background or their language skills.
Exactly.
That's pretty powerful.
It is, and it's not just about inclusion.
Okay.
It's about efficiency.
All right. Efficiency, tell me more.
So imagine an LLM
Okay.
that can summarize a massive online discussion,
Oh, wow.
highlighting the key points, the different perspectives.
So someone who joins a project late
Yeah.
could get up to speed really quickly without having to wade through,
Yeah.
hours and hours of conversation logs.
Right.
And that's a game changer for large-scale collaborations.
It is. It's like having an AI assistant
Yeah.
that makes sure everyone's on the same page, no
Mm-hmm.
matter when they join the conversation.
So that leads to another possibility.
It does lead us
That's
to
it.
the potential for LLMs to accelerate idea generation.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. So we're moving from breaking down barriers.
Yes, to boosting idea generation.
We're moving right along.
I'm starting to see how this LLM thing could really shake things up.
It really could.
So talk to me about idea generation. What's the potential there?
Think about the traditional brainstorm session.
Okay, yeah.
It can be slow.
It can be painful.
Yeah.
It can be painful.
Sometimes you just hit a wall.
You hit a wall, yeah.
You can't come up with any new ideas.
Right?
But imagine
Imagine
having
having
an AI that can just churn out hundreds of ideas in a matter of minutes.
in minutes.
Whoa! That's next level brainstorming.
It is.
But would those ideas be any good?
That's the question, isn't it?
Right. Would it just be random gibberish or would it be
Possible.
actual usable ideas?
It's possible you get some gibberish,
Yeah.
but they can also be incredibly useful
Okay.
as starting points, as creative sparks to kind of get the human brain juices flowing.
So it's not about replacing human creativity.
No.
It's about augmenting it.
Augmenting it, exactly.
Like having an AI partner
An AI partner.
in the ideation process.
Exactly. And they can be sounding boards,
Okay.
offering what we might call outside views that can challenge our assumptions and make us think in new ways.
So pushing us beyond our comfort zones.
Yeah, those comfortable little boxes.
And they can even recombine existing knowledge
Recombine, yes,
And then
new ways,
in new ways.
leading to breakthroughs that humans might never have thought of on their own.
That's the exciting part.
Okay, so we've got LLMs breaking down barriers,
Right.
sparking new ideas.
New ideas.
What else is on this LLM superpower list?
Well, the paper also dives into how LLMs could transform
Yeah.
deliberation.
Okay, deliberation. So not just about generating ideas,
No.
but about actually how we discuss them.
It's the heart of collective intelligence.
Oh, really? Okay, explain that.
So it's about how we discuss things, how we debate,
Right.
how we weigh different viewpoints to ultimately reach a decision or solve a problem.
So instead of just, throwing out ideas.
Right. LLMs could actually help us have more productive and more nuanced conversations.
Let's out those ideas.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, so imagine an LLM
Okay.
acting as kind of a neutral facilitator
Mm-hmm.
in an online discussion.
Okay.
It could summarize different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
identify areas of common ground,
Mm-hmm.
and even suggest ways to rephrase arguments
Oh, interesting.
for better understanding.
So kind of helping us get past those frustrating moments where people are just talking past each other.
Right.
Because they're not really understanding
Yeah, they're not on the same page.
each other's points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be incredibly helpful, especially online,
Especially online.
where things can get heated very quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah.
So you're saying LLMs could help us have more civil,
More civil.
more constructive,
Creative dialogues. Yeah.
and help us bridge divides and actually build consensus,
Yeah.
which is crucial for, effective collective action. Exactly.
Wow, this is starting to sound pretty utopian.
It is a little bit utopia.
We're talking about like world peace powered by AI here,
Maybe.
but I have a feeling there's a but coming.
There is a but.
Right.
There are also some risks.
Okay, so while LLMs offer all these incredible opportunities
They do.
to enhance collective intelligence,
Yeah.
they also pose some very real risks
They do.
that we need to carefully consider.
We do.
All right, so I'm ready to hear about the dark side of LLMs.
Let's go to the dark side.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so let's talk about the risks of LLMs.
Okay.
What are we talking about here? What could possibly go wrong?
Well, one of the biggest concerns that's highlighted in the paper
Mm-hmm.
is something they call the Wikipedia paradox.
The Wikipedia paradox.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that sounds ominous.
It's a little bit ominous.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so think about how Wikipedia works.
Okay.
This incredible resource
Yeah, it's amazing.
built on the collective knowledge of millions of people
Mm-hmm.
who contribute their time and expertise
Right.
to write and edit these articles.
It's like a constantly evolving living encyclopedia,
It is a living encyclopedia.
powered by the wisdom of the crowd.
Exactly.
Oh.
But now imagine
Yeah.
if everyone starts relying on LLMs to get their information
Okay.
instead of going directly to Wikipedia.
So instead of going to the source,
Right.
people are getting their information from an AI
Yeah,
that was trained on that source.
exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going.
Yeah, and that's where the paradox comes in.
Okay.
If fewer people are engaging with Wikipedia directly,
Yeah.
who's going to contribute to keeping it updated and accurate?
Ah, I see the problem.
Yeah.
The well of knowledge that LLMs draw from
Right?
could start to dry up if people stop contributing to it.
Exactly like biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And this isn't just about Wikipedia, right?
So not just Wikipedia this applies
Right.
to.
Right.
All sorts of online platforms and communities
Mm-hmm.
that rely on user-generated content.
Right.
If LLMs become the dominant way
Mm.
that people access information,
Yeah.
it could lead to a decline
Okay.
in the quality and diversity of information that's available online.
And that would give even more power to the companies
It would.
that control these LLMs,
That's
right?
This is.
So we could see a future where a handful of tech giants
Mm,
control the flow of information,
Yep.
shape public discourse,
Yeah.
and potentially stifle dissenting voices.
potentially. And
That's a pretty dystopian thought.
it is. It's like something out of a sci-fi novel.
Right, where some powerful AIs control what people think.
Yeah, thought control. Right.
All right, so that's one risk. What else we got?
So that brings us to another potential risk.
Okay.
Illusions of consensus.
Illusions of consensus.
Yeah.
Okay, why should we be worried about that?
Remember,
Mhm.
LLMs are trained on
Yeah.
massive data sets
Yeah.
of text and code.
Right. Massive amounts of data.
Huge amounts of data.
Okay.
But what if that data is biased? What if it reflects the dominant perspectives and overlooks minority viewpoints?
So instead of getting like a balanced view
Right.
of different perspectives,
Right.
you're only getting the prevailing narrative.
The prevailing narrative.
Even if it's not entirely accurate or representative
Often if it's not accurate.
of the full picture.
Exactly.
Okay. And because these LLMs can be so convincing,
And very convincing.
it's so articulate.
They sound like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
People might not even realize
They might not realize.
that they're being fed
Yeah.
a skewed perspective.
A very skewed perspective.
It's like being stuck in an echo chamber.
It is.
But instead of being surrounded by like-minded people,
Yeah.
you're surrounded by an AI
Right.
that's amplifying a particular worldview.
Exactly. And that leads to another risk.
Okay, go on.
Homogenization of thought.
Homogenization of thought.
Okay.
Hey.
So if everyone starts relying on the same LLMs
Yeah.
for information and decision-making,
Mm-hmm.
could our thinking
Yeah.
become more similar?
So instead of having this vibrant marketplace of ideas,
Right.
we all start sounding like the same AI chatbot.
Like the same chatbots.
That doesn't sound like a recipe
It's not.
for innovation or progress.
Not at all. Diversity of thought is so crucial
Mm-hmm.
for tackling complex problems,
Yeah.
coming up with creative solutions.
Okay.
Over-reliance on LLMs
Mm-hmm.
could really stifle that diversity.
Yeah, it's like everyone using the same paint color.
I like that.
Right. Sure, it might be a nice color.
It might be a nice color.
But the world would be a pretty boring place.
A very boring place.
If everything looked the same.
Right. We need that range of color.
Exactly. We need a diversity of perspectives and
Yeah.
approaches
That
to
makes
create a vibrant and dynamic society.
Dynamic, yes. And then, of
Mhm.
course, there's the whole issue of LLMs being used to spread misinformation.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
I mean, we've already seen
We've seen it.
how much damage misinformation can do
Yeah.
in the age of social media.
Right.
Could LLMs make things even worse?
Potentially much worse.
Okay. I'm scared now. Explain.
So LLMs are incredibly good at generating text
Mm-hmm.
that is basically indistinguishable
Yeah.
from human-written text.
We've seen that already.
We've seen it, right?
Yeah.
So imagine an LLM
Okay.
that can create fake news articles
Oh.
or social media posts that are so convincing.
Yeah.
They fool even the most discerning readers.
We're already struggling to tell what's real and what's fake online.
We are.
This could make that problem
It could.
exponentially worse.
Exponentially worse.
So it's like a supercharged version of deep fakes.
Exactly.
But instead of manipulating images or videos,
Right.
it's manipulating the very information we consume.
It's the information.
Wow. Okay, and it's not just about creating fake content, right?
It's not just about creating it. LLMs could be used to manipulate existing content,
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
taking something that's real
Yeah.
and twisting it
twisting it.
to fit a particular agenda.
Exactly. Imagine an LLM that can subtly alter a news article
Oh, wow.
to push a certain agenda or to discredit an opponent.
It's terrifying.
It is a little bit terrifying.
So we've got this technology with the potential
We just
to both elevate
right.
and endanger collective intelligence.
It's a double-edged sword.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what can we do about it?
Right.
Do we just cross our fingers and hope for the best?
I hope not.
Or are there things we can actually do
There are.
to mitigate these risks?
There are things we can do.
Okay, I'm ready for some solutions.
Let's get to solutions.
What are the recommendations?
So the authors of the paper, thankfully, don't just leave us hanging
Okay.
with a bunch of scary scenarios.
Yeah.
They offer some concrete recommendations
Okay.
for how we can navigate this LLM revolution responsibly,
Yeah.
maximize the benefits, and minimize the harms.
Lay it on me. What are they?
One of those crucial recommendations is to push for
Yeah.
what they call truly open LLMs.
Truly open LLM. So not just open in the sense of
Not just open source.
being free to use, but open in terms of
Transparency.
transparency.
Yeah. We need public access
Mhm.
to the code,
Okay.
the data,
Mm-hmm.
the training methods used to create these models.
So if we know how the sausage is made,
Exactly.
we can better assess the quality of the sausage.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Yeah, transparency is key
Transparency is key.
to building trust and accountability
Hmm.
in this whole LLM ecosystem.
Okay. What other recommendations do they make?
They also call for greater computational resources
Okay.
for researchers who are studying LLMs
Mm.
and their impact on society.
So basically, we need to invest in understanding
We need to understand it.
this technology better
Yes.
before it completely reshapes our world.
Before it reshapes our world, yes. And this research needs to be independent, okay, of the companies that are developing LLMs
Right. So to avoid conflicts of interest.
to avoid those conflicts, yeah.
So we need like independent researchers
Independent researchers
really digging into this.
digging in, and we need diverse perspectives
Yeah.
and critical analysis to make sure
Mm.
that these LLMs are actually aligned with human values
Okay.
and serving the common good.
So it sounds like we need to be proactive rather than reactive.
Proactive, not
We
reactive.
can't just wait and see what happens.
We can't wait and see.
We need to shape the future of LLMs
We need to shape it.
before they shape our future.
Exactly. And that brings us to their final recommendation.
Okay, hit me.
Third-party oversight.
Third-party oversight. Okay.
We need mechanisms to monitor how LMs are being used
Okay.
to identify and mitigate potential harms.
So some kind of regulatory framework
Yeah, framework.
to make sure LLMs aren't being used for malicious purposes?
For malicious purposes or even just harmful purposes
Oh,
unintentionally.
unintentional, yeah.
It's not about stifling innovation.
Okay.
It's about making sure this powerful technology is used responsibly.
Responsibly and ethically.
And ethically, yes. We need to establish clear guidelines, standards for LLM development and deployment.
Okay.
And we need mechanisms for enforcement and accountability.
It sounds like we're talking about a pretty significant shift in how we think about
A huge shift.
and govern technology.
It is a huge shift. Yeah, the LLM revolution is upon us.
It is.
And it's forcing us to rethink our relationship
yeah.
with technology
Okay.
and its impact on society.
It's a lot to process,
It is.
but it feels like a really important conversation to have.
It's an essential conversation.
So where do we go from here?
Okay, where do we go from here?
What does all of this mean for us?
Right.
You know, the everyday users of technology.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
What does it mean for all of us?
Yeah.
I think this paper is a call to action
Okay.
for all of us to become more aware, okay, of how these powerful technologies
Yeah.
are being developed and used, and to start asking some hard questions
Okay.
about the future we're creating.
So it's not just about,
It's not just about,
geeking out on the latest AI advancements.
no,
We actually have a responsibility to engage in this conversation
we have to.
and try to shape the direction of this technology.
You can't just sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of an existential crisis here.
I know.
This is heavy stuff.
It is heavy stuff.
What can we do? Where do we even begin?
Okay, well, for starters,
Yeah.
we need to educate ourselves.
Okay, educate ourselves. So read articles.
Read articles.
Listen to podcasts like this one, hopefully.
Exactly.
Engage in discussion
Discussions, yeah.
about LLMs and their impact.
Their impact.
On everything.
On everything.
From education and healthcare
Right.
to politics and culture.
All of it.
So basically, do your homework.
Do your homework.
Don't just blindly accept the hype or the fear-mongering.
Yeah, don't just buy into the hype.
Get informed so you can form your own opinions.
Exactly.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Ask questions.
Challenge the assumptions.
Challenge the assumption.
that are baked into these technologies.
Right.
Demand transparency
Demand transparency.
from the companies that are developing them.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like we need to be more than just
We need to be more than
consumers of technology.
passive consumers, yeah.
We need to be active citizens,
Active citizens.
engaging in the debate,
Engaging, yeah.
and demanding
Demanding.
ethical and responsible development.
I love that ethical and responsible development.
And we also need to be aware
we need to be aware.
the potential biases
The biases, yeah.
that are embedded in these systems.
Like who's creating them?
Mm-hmm.
What data are they being trained on?
Yeah.
What are the potential blind spots?
So basically, we need to be critical thinkers.
Critical thinkers.
Don't just take everything an LLM tells you at face value.
Question it.
Think critically about the source,
Being critically, yes.
the context,
The content.
the potential biases that are at play.
all of those things.
And
Yeah.
remember,
Remember,
LLMs are tools.
they are tools
They can be used for good
for good
or for ill.
or for bad.
Yeah.
It's up to us
Yeah.
to decide how we use them.
It's a lot of responsibility,
It is.
but it's also incredibly exciting.
Incredibly exciting.
And we're on the cusp of a technological revolution.
We are.
And we have the opportunity
You have the opportunity
to shape it in a way
to shape it.
that benefits all of humanity.
Benefits everyone, yes.
Yeah. All right. I'm feeling a little more optimistic now.
A little more optimistic.
It's not all doom and gloom,
Not all doom and gloom.
but it's going to take effort
Effort.
and awareness from all of us
Awareness.
to steer this LLM ship in the right direction.
To steer the ship.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the basic ingredients of collective intelligence
Right.
to the potential benefits and risks of LLMs.
The benefits and the risks.
It's been a whirlwind tour
A whirlwind.
of this fascinating and rapidly evolving field.
It's evolving so quickly.
So if you want to learn more,
Yes, please do.
be sure to check out the full research paper,
The full paper.
which we've linked in the show notes.
Yeah, we've got a link.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts.
We would.
What excites you about the potential of LLMs?
Yeah. What are you excited about?
What worries you?
What are you worried about?
Share your insights on our social media channels.
Yeah, let us know.
And let's continue this important conversation together.
Let's keep talking about it.
Until next time,
Until next time.
keep asking questions.
Keep asking questions.
Keep learning.
Keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.